welcome to another simple instruction video back in the kitchen here. Today we're going to make chicken stock. Quite a lot of the recipes that I make, I'll say use some chicken stock. Now of course you can go to your cupboard and get a stock cube or a bouillon cube and mix that with some hot water, and there's your chicken stock. It's nice and easy. However, if you want to look yourself in the mirror, then make your own chicken stock. It's very, very simple and it is way, way tastier, and you can make loads. You can keep it in the freezer. It keeps for ages. So, you know, if you are enjoying these series of videos that I'm making, please like the video, share the video and subscribe. We'll get down to it. So yesterday I did Sunday lunch. This Monday morning today, and we did roast chicken dinner. What I've got here is, I didn't throw the bones away. I've got my chicken carcass, which looks beautiful. So I've got some skin, the bones. I've stuffed it when I cooked it with some lemon and some thyme, and that, all the bones and everything else. What you need is a big pot. Chuck it in the big pot. Now after that, it's personal preference really. So what you really want is some strong tasting accompaniment to it. You can get as fancy as you like, but easiest thing to do, carrot. I've got, I made a dessert yesterday with some lemon zest, but I didn't need the onion juice, didn't need the lemon juice or the rest of the lemon, so we're going to chuck a bit of that in there, give it a bit of a tang. We're going to use an onion and some garlic. So there's no finesse with this really. You know, you don't need to peel your onions, just chop it in half. So got myself a knife. I'm using a meat cleaver basically to show off with. So I'm going to chop that in half, chuck it in. The skin can go in there as well, because you're not going to be eating it, or you're going to strain it all out, so there's no point in peeling the skin away, no point in peeling your carrots. To be honest, there's no point in peeling carrot, full stop. Chuck that in there, there's my lemon, slice that in half, chuck that in there, and the garlic as well. Don't sit there peeling it, just chop straight through it and chuck that in there as well. Now, other things that you could put in there, you just basically want anything that might be strong tasting. So, you know, I've put carrots in there, some parsnip. I tell you what else works quite well. If you've got leftovers from Sunday dinner, so if you've roasted some veg, I have got some leftover roast carrots. They're going to go in there. I've got a little bit of leftover gravy. That's going to go in there. It just all adds to the flavour. And if you're one of these nutcases that thinks that celery's an acceptable food stuff, you can stick some of that in there as well. Not happening in my kitchen. Okay, so I'll switch the light on there. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. You can see into the pan. We've got a full bulb of garlic there. We've got some lemon, our onion, our carrot, and there's the leftover gravy in the corner there. And, you know, the standard sort of stuff. Salt and pepper. I'm not going to sit here and grind a load of pepper, because, you know, what's the point? Just chuck a load of peppercorns in there. Generous amount. And then salt. You can't really scrimp with the salt when making good chicken stock, because the salt will pull the marrow out of the bones, and that's what makes it that jelly-like texture at the end. And hopefully I know this properly, once we get to the very end of the video, you'll be able to see what I mean by the jelly-like texture, and that's what sets homemade stock apart from the stuff that you buy in the shops. And then all you're going to do with that, a big jug of water, and what you need to do is just cover everything. So I'm going to need a little bit more in there, not a huge amount, sort of maybe another quarter to half a jug, but just cover everything over, and then just bring this to the boil. And once it's to the boil, turn the ring down, or move it onto a smaller ring, and just let it simmer. And for those of you who don't know the difference, or don't understand the difference between simmering and boiling, boiling is when it's bubbling hard, simmering is when it's just starting to boil and there's a little bit of bubbles coming, and you just want to leave it at that simmer level for as much time as you've got, really. I mean, if you can leave it boiling there all day, you'll get some sensational stock, but you want to do it for at least an hour. My intention is to leave this here for about 3 to 4 hours today. Okay, so that is bubbling away nicely there. You can probably see that really going. Now, one thing I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about strong tasting accompaniments is garden herbs. So I'm making this video in January, so the herb garden outside isn't particularly flourishing. But my rosemary's not looking so bad, so I've robbed a bit off that. But anything like, I mean, I mentioned earlier, I've got thyme within the chicken, but that's already been cooked, so most of the flavours come out of that. But a bit more thyme in there, some sage would work really well in this, and obviously rosemary. So what we're just going to do now is we're just going to take that, move it across, it's quite hot, onto a smaller ring, and we're just going to turn that ring on very, very low. Keep the heat in there, simmering away, and we're just gonna leave it there for as long as we possibly can. Okay, so this has been sitting here for several hours. Like I said before, the longer you leave it, the better the stock's gonna make. Minimum of an hour. Mine's been sat here for 3 now. Got myself an oven glove this time. I'm not gonna make the same mistake I made earlier and pick up a hot pan. You can see there, I've turned the heat off, and it's still steaming away there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to strain this straight away. You might want to leave it to cool down a little bit. Definitely don't let it go until it is cold, because if you've done it properly and it jellifies, then you're just going to have all these bits inside a jelly, and it's just going to be a bit soul destroying, really. So you want to get it out while it's still in its liquid form. I always do it straight away. So all we're going to do is we're going to pour this through a sieve into a bowl. You probably want to get somebody to help you at this point, because this is where it can go horribly wrong. If you slip or the sieve slips and it just all goes everywhere. Do it over a sink as well. Make sure you're not wearing flip-flops like I currently am. You might drop something. If you drop something on your toes, it's going to burn. So yeah, just get this strained through a sieve into a big bowl, and then get that bowl into the fridge. Okay, so our stock's been in the fridge for several hours now, and it's had time to cool down. Results not exactly what I was hoping for. It's if I hold it up to the camera there, it does have a bit of a wobble on, but it's still liquid. Now, what you're ideally looking to achieve is a jelly-like form, so on the cusp of going from a liquid into a solid. You should be able to take a scoop out of this with a ladle or a big spoon, and it have a sort of form on the spoon, but it also collapse back in on itself, so like a loose jelly. This is more of a liquid. It's getting there, but probably what I've done is I've either over diluted the stock in the first place, or put too much water in, maybe not put enough salt in to draw out all the goodness from the carcass, or possibly not cooked it long enough. I cooked it for 3 hours. I know I said a minimum of an hour. You're never going to really get a good jelly structure after an hour. 3 should be enough, but like I said at the start of the video, cook it for as long as you can. I mean, 10 hours, it would be ideal, but not taking away from anything, this stock will still be delicious and way better than a stock pot or a stock cube or bouillon that you can buy from the supermarket. So all there is to do now is we'll skim the fat off the top there. Again, if you can see, it's not got a layer of fat, but it's got those all that white, sort of yellowy white globules. That's all fat, and don't need that anymore. So we're just going to skim as much as we can with that, with a slotted spoon or a steel spoon. Might not work with a slotted spoon because it's all broken up. And then we're just going to decant it. I've got my takeaway boxes, my black permanent marker. I'm just going to write what it is and the date it went into the freezer, and I'm just going to make, I'll probably get about 4 or 5 of these out of this. That'll go in the freezer. I'll stay in the freezer for as long as you like. My final product is slightly disappointing, but it will still be delicious. So, and that is all that matters. If you want to go for finesse and the look of everything, find a different video. We're all about whether it tastes good, and that is by far and away the most important thing. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, you've made your stock and it's turned out slightly better than mine, then like the video, share the video and subscribe, and have a lovely day.